Joining us on the show is Krishnan ASV of SBICapital Securities to talk about yes. We'll also request Krishnan to maybe throw some light on whether ICICI Bank has, as a stock, could have some issues too. But Krishnan, thanks so much for taking the time out this morning and speaking to us. This is Neeraj here. Good morning. What's your thought now? I mean, are you still waiting for the divergence report to get some more clarity before you give out a larger call on Yes Bank, or this change at the helm is good enough for you to think that there could be some re-rating of the P multiples or price to book multiples?
Yeah, hi Neeraj, thanks for having me on the show.
Pleasure.
So we have been generally, so given the kind of beating that the stock took over the past 3 months, we were comfortable to stick our neck out and say that, look, I mean, there is disproportionate return here. The biggest uncertainty we felt in terms of order of preference also was around leadership succession. So that having been addressed, I think the divergence issue will be largely absorbed. It will be a minor blip, no matter what that number eventually is. I think it will be something that the market will digest more easily, given that now you have a new MD, seemingly independent, given that he's coming from, he is an external candidate. So to that extent, there is less regulatory against baggage. So to that extent, I think so. Divergence, of course, is an important variable, but was that the most important variable? Probably not. I think the leadership succession was indeed the most important variable. That having been addressed, I'm not too worried about the divergence number coming anytime. Whatever be that number, I think the market will adjust the book value accordingly. I think the single largest priority now will be when can they go out and raise growth capital. So that would be crucial. There are other important variables there in terms of the existing management team and stability of the existing management team. The stability of their existing strategy. Very clearly, they have had certain strengths. They have been trying to build a retailization story on both sides of the balance sheet. So if they were to just go back to their own steady state, I think it will restore normalization much more quickly. On the other hand, if the new MD was to decide he wants to run the bank in a very different way, then that's a complete reset. So then that will call for more patient investment.
Interesting. Okay. So, well, a bold call given by Krishnan way back, some time back as well, wherein they believed that the risk reward was in the favor of somebody who went and bought. And yesterday, I think Krishnan's call is well taken, because yesterday the stock went up primarily because of the change at the helm of the bank. Krishnan, the thought that I would have is, though, that we were just looking at some numbers. Yes Bank's FI holding has fallen to 35%, the lowest in the larger banks. I'm not even counting Kotak and HDFC, but the comparable corporate-facing banks. So the lowest in that group, and the valuation multiples too, the lowest. What return, maybe not the return to mean, but what kind of upticks do you see in both of those as a result of this? Do you reckon your FI clients that you would have spoken to after this announcement yesterday were sanguine about this and were wanting to maybe deploy some capital in Yes Bank?
Selective, very selective. I mean, there are both types of investors. So
Sure.
There are investors who are willing to take the plunge. Put here and now, they were willing to take the plunge at 180 levels as well, right?
Okay.
And then there are other investors who are willing to let go of the first 10-15% pop-up, knowing that, look, if this is going to be a more secular run for the bank, if this is a new avatar of Yes Bank and this is likely to sustain itself for much longer, I'm happy to live with whatever return I make, X the 10% up move that I saw yesterday, right? So They would probably wait on the sidelines. There would still be that money that, serious investors who are willing to wait patiently and hear out what the new MD has to say. And maybe 6 months down the line, whenever there is an equity raise, they probably participate once they hear what they articulate.
Got it.
And then there would be others who are looking for, okay, fine, these are good levels. I can I can stay patiently invested, and there is 6-month return to be made.
Got it. So some wait for the print, some not. So my final question, Krishnan, on Yes Bank, and then maybe one question on ICICI Bank. But final question on Yes Bank: what would be your target price to book multiple with the things that you know at hand? I'm sure if some other surprise comes about, it could be revised upwards or downwards. But from whatever you know as of now, what would be your FY20 target price to book for Yes Bank?
So our numbers are currently implying something close to about 2.4x. 2.4x FY20. That's almost offering about a 35% upside from these levels right now. And that's just in a base case scenario where we now think 1Q FY20. So June quarter of this year is when they might be able to raise liquidity.
Okay, very interesting. Krishnan, final question. I know we asked you to come and speak on Yes Bank, but just a word on whether all that's happening around ICICI Bank has a bearing on the stock as well. How would you read into it?
It does. It's something that the stock and the bank cannot wish away, right? Very clearly, the regulator, in this case the RBI, could take suo motu notice and point out that there are, missing controls and systems, correct? So could this have repercussions on ICICI Bank as a listed stock? Maybe not material, but definitely it remains a distraction for investors. Just at the time when you thought that there is a clean runway for you as some corporate bank investor, there come these, speed bumps once in a while. So I think this is a speed bump. This will remain a distraction, I think.
Okay. Krishnan, I appreciate you taking the time out for us this early in the morning and talking to Bloomberg Quint. Thanks much, and have a good day ahead.
Yeah.